Can you, I think you elaborated well what is a football action. I think it's very clear now, but maybe some of our audience, they are not aware of these references yet. And I think this is a good opportunity to explain this the maximum you could. Can you also define to us what a basic action mean and what a movement mean in trainings? Like bring those pictures to the training sessions, and this is uh, football action training or football interaction training. This is a basic action training, and this is a movement training.
Yeah, of course. Um, no, like again, taking the football action as a starting point, as you mentioned earlier. So within the football action, you have communicating, deciding, executing decisions. And like you said, there is a hierarchy. So communicating is obviously of a higher order because without the communicating part of the football action, you need to be able to exchange information not only with your teammates but also with the opponent, because what the opponent does will provoke uh, your decision or will influence how you decide to help the team, help your own team. And also, your teammates will also influence your decision on how you will help the team and how you guys are going to work together. So, communicating is of the highest order, the exchange of information between players. Um, so then, once the player has collected the information they needed, and it's within this less of a second, it's a split second of interaction. Then they decide what they're going to do, so their contribution to the team, and then they're going to decide how they're going to do it. And this is where you get the space time characteristics, position, moment, direction, and speed. So then the player has to choose the best possible position, moment, direction, speed to accomplish their contribution to the team, which the contribution we call individual intention. So they must accomplish their individual intention with the best possible position, moment, direction, and speed. And then the final part of the football action is the only thing that we see on the pitch is executing their decisions. So they have to execute the position, moment, direction, speed that they chosen. But it doesn't always mean that what they execute is what they wanted to do. So all we see is what there is, and sometimes we fall guilty of oh, the player made a bad pass, so their decision making is poor or their technique is poor. But you have to look beyond that, and because you have to find out what the player really wanted to do, because maybe they had the right decision, but they just executed it poorly, or maybe they didn't communicate in the best possible way. So then, based on the information they collected, they didn't get enough or the best possible information. Then the decision they made was not the best possible decision. But then a lot of the times we blame the technique when there's a bigger problem, and the technique is just a symptom of a bigger problem. Um, but yeah, with that being said, with this hierarchy and this definition of a football action, now we can now categorize what is a football action, which we already defined. A basic action is basically an interaction that's not with the football context. So, like we said, kicking the ball is a basic action because you are interacting with the environment, and so the environment being the ball. So then you are not playing football, but now maybe you're just kicking the ball against the wall. So kicking is a basic action, or maybe you're doing a passing pattern, quote unquote passing pattern, but it's really a kicking pattern because there's no opponents. So you're just kicking the ball to your teammates within whatever pattern the coach chose to do. And then, but even with these basic actions, you can also break them down into movements, which is maybe bending the knee, uh, uh, flexing the ankle, um, rotating the hip. So all these are movements, and then but ultimately the football action is of the highest order. And if a coach identifies a problem within the football action, you want to solve it first at the level of football within the football context. And then if the coach cannot solve it within the football context, then maybe he goes to the basic action. So again, you have to have a logical reason why you don't do why you don't train in the football context. And then with your logical reasoning as a coach, then you say, okay, maybe we have to do basic actions to hopefully improve the action, because there's no guarantee. And then if you cannot solve it there, maybe the player has a movement deficiency, maybe with the hip, maybe they don't tighten their core, so then their back doesn't, so they can't contract their core, so their back is very loose, or the hips. So then they do something with core stability, which hopefully contributes to the basic action, which then hopefully helps the football action. But again, you have to have a good logical process and very good football lenses to view these football problems through, or else you'll end up fighting symptoms and rather than solving the problem at the end of the day.
So